A sitting United States senator just got put on notice by the Pentagon.
U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says that the Pentagon will cut Senator Mark Kelly's retirement pay. Kelly and 6 Democratic lawmakers took part in a video reminding U.S. service members of their duty to refuse illegal orders.
Hey, I just got back from Ukraine, and Elon Musk called me a traitor. If Elon Musk doesn't understand what it means to stick up for American values,
Not for corruption, not for espionage, for forgetting one crucial thing. When you take that oath, when you accept that military retirement, that pension, you don't get to just walk away and say whatever you want.
Behold, the grandeur of our heritage.
Now, for me and my family, service to our country is in my blood.
Not when it undermines the very institution that you swore an oath to defend. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth just did something that needed to happen a long time ago. He reminded every retired officer collecting a military paycheck that accountability doesn't end when you hang up the uniform. And Senator Mark Kelly, he's about to learn that lesson the hard way. So let's dive right in.
Dive.
Let me be crystal clear about what just happened and why it matters. Mark Kelly isn't being targeted because he's a senator. He's being held accountable because he's a retired naval officer who never stopped collecting military pay. And when you're still on the Pentagon's payroll, that means the taxpayers are putting money in your account every month. You're still subject to military justice.
The boat strike's illegal.
Pages of why these are legal. It's
Under the Obama administration, they did extrajudicial killings of an American citizen through drone strikes.
That's not controversial. That's the freaking deal. For 6 weeks, Mark Kelly has stood in front of cameras and told active duty service members that lawful military operations were illegal. And I believe this would have all come to a head. Basically, he was telling Delta Force not to do their job in Venezuela on the orders of the president. You know, the whole Maduro capture. He has counseled them to refuse orders. Think about that.
A video that was made to create a reaction as a political statement. And the reaction that they're getting is Senator Kelly is now facing a letter of censure and a threat to his retirement and his rank and his pay. So I think it's an escalating conflict. And if I were Senator Kelly, I think I would try and de-escalate if I were involved. I know that would hurt the ego because you think if you back down, you're hurting your ego, you're exposing yourself. But I think it's important to remember that divisiveness does not help a team win, and it certainly does not help America win, and he's not gaining any influence in the military with these types of behavior. So hopefully they can find a more constructive way to communicate.
A retired Navy captain, an 06, a colonel for you Army types, someone who knows what insubordination does to unit cohesion, to the chain of command. He actively encouraged troops to disobey their commanding officers.
If you're the guy that is pulling the trigger in a combat operation, you typically expect that the people above you have done all the due diligence necessary to make sure that you are not going to be in some kind of legal jeopardy. And I really worry about that today.
That's not oversight. That's not congressional duty. That is a little word called sedition. Plain and simple. Articles 133 and 134 of the UCMJ exist for exactly this reason. Officers don't get a free pass to undermine good order and discipline just because they retired and won an election. Here's what Mark Kelly forgot. You can't have it both ways. You can't cash those pension checks funded by taxpayers, earned through your honorable service, and then turn around and sabotage the very military that's still paying you. You want to play politician? Fine. Give back the pension. Sever the tie. Turn in the ID card. But as long as you're retired military receiving pay, you're accountable to military law.
we heard today from Defense Secretary Hegseth that he's moving to formally punish your colleague, Senator and retired Navy combat pilot Mark Kelly, for appearing in a video which he know the lawmakers told troops that they didn't have to follow illegal orders. Hegseth has accused lawmakers of sedition. He says he intends to demote Kelly from the rank of captain, reduce his retirement pay.
And honestly, it's about time someone enforced it, because every junior officer, every enlisted troop watching this knows the truth. If they had said what Kelly said, they would already be facing a court-martial. Think back to that Marine Lieutenant Colonel Stuart Schiller. His career was over. The rules can't just apply to the little guy. Secretary Hegseth isn't overreaching. He's doing exactly what the military justice demands, holding a retired officer accountable for conduct that threatened our national security and military readiness. And some of you will ask the question about General Mark Milley. Do you remember that? Because I believe this message is being received by Mark Milley. And senator or not, Mark Kelly isn't above the UCMJ. And this action sends the right message. Your oath doesn't expire when your ambition does. So guys, here's the bottom line. What happened to Mark Kelly today isn't just about one senator. It's not even just about one retired officer who forgot where the line was. This is the Trump administration drawing a line in the sand, and it's about time. For too long, we've watched a two-tiered system of justice in this country. Rules for thee, but not for me. Generals and admirals retire. They all move into politics, or they become a pundit on CNN, right? And suddenly they think they can trash the military, undermine operations, call lawful orders illegal, all while cashing those big fat pension checks. Mark Kelly's making about $9-10 grand a month just in a retirement. And now the Department of War has set a precedence. And what happened to them? Well, things are a-changing, because in the past, nothing has happened. But that ends now. The Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, just sent a message that will echo through every Pentagon corridor, every Capitol Hill office, and every military retiree association in this country. Your rank came with responsibilities. Your pension comes with strings attached. And if you violate your oath, there will be consequences. This is what equal justice looks like. This is what accountability looks like. And frankly, this is what leadership looks like. The Trump administration isn't playing games. They're not interested in the old Washington playbook where elites protect each other and the rules only apply to the enlisted guys and junior officers. They're saying if you're going to wear that uniform, even in retirement, if you're going to accept military benefits, maybe that little Lowe's discount, then you're going to uphold military standards, senator or not, celebrity or not, astronaut, hero or not. Mark Kelly's case is now Exhibit A, the example, the warning shot. Every retired flag officer who's been running their mouth on CNN, every former Pentagon official who's been leaking to the Washington Post, every military retiree who thought their political career gave them immunity, they're all watching this, and they're all realizing the game just changed. And you know what? The troops are watching too. The active duty service members who've been told to shut up and color, to follow orders without question, to maintain discipline no matter what they're seeing, that maybe, just maybe, the standards actually apply to everyone now. That integrity isn't just a word we make our E4s memorize. That accountability isn't just for the people without connections. This is what draining the swamp actually looks like. Not tweets, not press releases, action, real consequences for real misconduct. Pete Hegseth sent a message, and I hope Pam Bondi received part of it. The Trump administration just proved they're willing to take on a sitting senator, a decorated veteran, a national figure, because the rule of law matters more than political convenience. Mark Kelly had 30 days to respond, but the message has already been sent, and every retired officer in America just got a refresher course on what that oath really means. It doesn't expire. Your service doesn't end when it's convenient. And if you break faith with the institution that made you who you are, there's a price to pay. Finally. That's what leadership looks like. That's what accountability looks like. And that's why this moment matters. Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you believe the Trump administration is right to hold retired officers accountable, no matter who they are, hit the like button. We'll see you in the next one. And if you're retired from the military and you're watching this, I would love to get your opinion, because you can really weigh in on the perspective of this whole situation a lot better than the average citizen.